General purpose: to inform. I want my audience to know the differences between each version of Cinderella and the lessons that can be learned from Cinderella. According to ALA.org, American Library Association, last access February 20th, 2015, states, but Cinderella is not just one story. More than 500 versions of Cinderella. More than 500 versions have been found just in Europe. Ever since I was a little girl, I have loved the story of Cinderella. Many years I would dress up as Cinderella for Halloween. In my room, I have a little shrine dedicated to all my Cinderella collectibles. Every person has a story that they connect to instantly. This is that one for me. Have you ever been in a bad situation and instead of being mean, you decided to be positive? Then you are like Cinderella. In this speech, I will talk about the differences between each version over time and the morals of the story. How Cinderella gets into this depressing situation, how the dress is different, what makes Cinderella get through the situation, and how you can be like Cinderella. Cinderella's life changes quite quickly at the beginning of the story. How depends on the version. The stepmother completely changes how she lives because of what happens to her parents. In Walt Disney's Cinderella, we find out it is upon the untimely death of this good man, stepmother's true colors was revealed. Cold, cruel, bitterly jealous of Cinderella's charm and beauty that rivaled her daughters. The book Cinderella, Project Gutenberg, we find out no sooner were the ceremonies of the wedding over, but the mother-in-law began to show herself in her true colors. What happened to her mother is very sad and changes her. In the Household Tales of Brothers Grimm, the authors Jacob and William Grimm say that when winter came, the snow spread a white cloth over the mother's grave. When the spring sun had removed it again, the man took himself another wife. In the Household Tales of Brothers Grimm, the authors Jacob and William Grimm state before Cinderella's mother dies, she says, "Dear child, remain piteous and good, and then our dear God will always protect you, and I will look down on you from heaven and be near you." The stepmother is one of the things that remains the same in each, no matter how it starts. Ella's mother is the reason she is so good. As time goes on, Cinderella is invited to a ball. After Cinderella's stepsisters ruin her dress, the fairy godmother makes her a new dress. What the dress looks like is different depending on the story. Project Gutenberg in the book Cinderella mentions her godmother only just touched her with her wand, and the same instant her clothes were turned into cloth of gold and silver, all beset with jewels. In the Household Tales of Brothers Grimm by Jacob and William Grimm, we find out that there is 3 nights of balls, with each night having a different dress. The stepsisters also tries on the Cinderella slipper. How it looks is different too. The Household Tales of Brothers Grimm by Jacob and William Grimm. The prince mentions the next morning he went to the man and said to him, "No one shall be my wife except for the one who fits his golden shoe." In Walt Disney's Cinderella, that after the first glass slipper breaks, Cinderella says, I have the other slipper." The dress and the shoes may be different in the versions, but what is most important is what can be learned from Cinderella. Cinderella has many lessons that can be learned from her. One lesson is to be nice, even in the worst of situations. According to May 15, 2011, on slideshare.net, it says the Cinderella story teaches us that we can act appropriately even when surrounded by bad behavior. On hugpages.com, access January 10th, 2015, we learned she refuses to become bitter, hardened, and cruel like those around her. Another is to take charge in your life. According to slideshare.net, last access May 15th, 2011, that it's always been up to Cinderella alone to step forward and claim her new life. Cinderella.com as of January 10, 2015, we learned she chooses the choices by herself. She can choose how to respond in a positive way. In Walt Disney's Cinderella, in the beginning, the father dies. In Grimm's version, the mother dies. In the other one, the father gets remarried. In Gutenberg's version, the dress was gold and silver with gems all over it, and the slippers were made out of gold. In Grimm's version, the prince has 3 balls and the 3 separate dresses. In Walt Disney's, the shoes are made out of glass. Be positive in every situation. Always take charge of your life. What I have discussed in this speech is how Cinderella came to be under the care of her stepmother, how she was transformed before the ball, and what she strived to be. Cinderella is a classic story teaching the best thing to do in life is to be positive, good, and kind. That life can change in an instant, but that doesn't mean you have to.